welcome back to my channel and to another video. I hope you're all safe and well. I haven't done a sit down video in quite a while, since my UV video a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, probably over that now. But I thought I would do another sit down video because I have some very exciting news for my diabetes. So without further ado, if you want to hear more about my diabetes and more about type 1 diabetes, then just keep on watching. Bit of a backstory, if you don't know, I am type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed in August of 2011. So it's been, what's that now, 13 years near? Well, yeah, over 13 years now. Of those 13 years, I started off treating my diabetes with an insulin injection and a blood machine. This is what they looked like. So it was just an insulin pen and this small machine. I would have to calculate all of the carbohydrates in my food and work out the injection that I needed to have. And I'd also have an overnight injection which would help for my blood sugars to keep them regulated through the day. So anything I ate, I'd have to do an injection for. Then a year after I got diagnosed, I decided, well, and the diabetic team decided that we would put me onto an insulin pump system. This meant no daily injections. It meant changing a cannula, I think for that first one was every 3 days. I think, I can't remember, it's been a while. That looked like this. It was the Accu-Check tubed pump. I think I still have it somewhere. I may have got rid of it now, but I did keep it for a while. And that did all of my injections for me. So it did a constant background injection to make sure that my sugars were sort of regulated, so I didn't go too high. And it also gave me the insulin, so I'd put it into the handset, test my sugars, put how many carbohydrates I have in my food into the handset, and then it would automatically do the injection for me, which was amazing. It was so cool. But at that time, this had a tube that could be, I had one that was like 90 centimeters long. It was a long tube. So it kind of got a bit annoying. So once I'd had that for 4 years, so at this point I've had diabetes for 5 years. It's now 2016, so it must be around 2017, because I'm pretty sure Callum came with me to my first appointment for my Omnipod system. So I was upgraded to a new system in about 2017, which had no tube, which was so good. This system was offered when I went on the tube system, but the pod was so heavy, I just didn't think I'd be able to cope with it. But in those 5 years, they had come such a long way, and it was a more sleek design and less weighty. So I decided to go onto the Omnipod system, which looks like this. And this is the system I have now. It is so easy to use. I change the Omnipod every 3 days. You just put the insulin in, and you have a handset that you use to put in your bloods, and you put in your carbohydrates that you're going to have. Same to the tube system. It was basically the same, but just no tube. So it just sits discreetly. You don't even notice that you've got it on. I forget, like, I don't know where it is at the minute. It's on my back here. So I forget where it is because I just don't feel it until you accidentally catch it on something. So I've had that since 2017. Then in 2020, my grandparents very kindly funded a Dexcom G6 for me, which was a very expensive piece of equipment that wasn't on the NHS at that time. So they funded that for me, and that looked like this. And what this did was it would sit on my skin, like in my skin with a sensor, and it would read my sugars. It would then send the sugar level to my phone, which meant no pricking. Literally wore this thing for 10 days and changed it every 10 days, and that would tell me what my sugars are. So there was I didn't have any daily injections. It was literally every 3 days I would change my Omnipod, and every 10 days I would change the Dexcom. So that took my daily injections from minimum 4 to nothing daily, and literally doing one small site change, which was incredible, especially when it used to take me half an hour to do an injection, because I used to get so anxious about it and I used to hate it. So that was incredible. But unfortunately, Dexcom changed the formula of their adhesive and I became very allergic to it, to the point where it was basically burning away at my skin. I would try and keep it on for as long as I could because I really wanted it to work. So I contacted the diabetic team and they put me on the Freestyle Libre, which looks like this. So discreet. You may see people around wearing it. It's also the system that's used for Zoe, the like health thing that's been quite big recently. So that just sits on my arm. You can't even see it, I don't think. It's just a small little sensor and it does the exact same thing as the Dexcom. When I first got the Libre, every time you wanted to know what your sugars were, you would have to scan it with your phone. Now it's had an update, so it is continuously monitoring my sugars, and it looks, my sugars are a little bit high at the minute because I've been out. It looks like this and it all comes through the phone, which is incredible. It sets alerts, so if you're dropping too quickly it will alert you, if you're going high it will alert you. Now obviously, with that being said, I have something that monitors my sugars and something that does my insulin, but the two don't communicate. They don't communicate at all. I still have to physically put my blood sugar into a machine which connects to my Omnipod and tell my Omnipod what my sugars are and how many carbohydrates I'm going to have for it to then give me the insulin that I need. So that's the system that I'm on at the minute. Back in July, I think it was, might have been June, I had an appointment with the diabetic team and my control was, it's not the worst, but even with the tweaks that we're making, my sugars just won't stay consistent. As you can see, they've gone really high. Exercise really affects it, and I want to exercise and I don't want to be not exercising because my sugars aren't under control. There is a new system that has come out recently, I haven't heard too much about it, called closed loop. I think it's closed loop therapy, or the diabetes closed loop system, which I am being put on this Wednesday coming, the 9th of September. I am so excited. So I'm going to explain a bit more about what that is. Obviously I've rambled for a while about my previous stuff. Now we're going to move on to the new exciting technology that is happening with diabetes care. So it is often called an artificial pancreas. Now obviously type 1 diabetes is caused when your pancreas stops creating the hormone insulin, and insulin is used to break down glucose from food or anything that's in your bloodstream. Obviously if you don't have that, you then get a buildup of glucose in your bloodstream, which can be really dangerous, and that's when you can go into something called diabetes ketoacidosis, and it can be very, very dangerous. So this system is called an artificial pancreas, and this is made up of the Omnipod 5, so still the same system I'm on for my insulin, and a Freestyle Libre 2 Plus sensor. So the exact same system I'm on, upgraded version of them. So the system is controlled via a handset. So I've got all of my supplies here. I haven't fitted it yet because I've got my appointment, like I said, on Wednesday. So this is the handset for the new Omnipod 5 system, and it is basically a smartphone. It is massive. This is the only issue I have. The device is so big, so I have to make sure I've got this charged and this charged at all times, because this is monitoring my sugars and this is controlling the Omnipod. There apparently is a smartphone app, but I don't think it's licensed in the UK. I'm not too sure. I will find out more on Wednesday. I have got everything in the system now. So how it works is, this is my Freestyle Libre 2 Plus sensor. This monitors my sugars. It then communicates with one of my Omnipods, which look like this, and it's all transmitted wirelessly to each other. So they have to be in line of sight, so they'll be one on my arm, and they will communicate to each other. Then, if my sugars are going up, the Omnipod will then increase the amount of insulin that I'm receiving, and similarly, if they are dropping, it will decrease the amount of insulin I'm receiving. So it will basically try and keep it at that harmonious level. You can also set personalised target glucose. This is also really good because in the future, Callum and I would like to have kids, and it is good to have good control of your diabetes. Obviously, your health, anything like that, before you think of having children. Not anymore. I think talking to your diabetic team like in regards to whether this is the best thing for you, is a good idea. I went onto this, like I said, because my sugars just aren't at that perfect level that they want. So it says here, the Omnipod 5 algorithm uses the glucose data from Freestyle Libre 2 to adjust insulin doses, decrease in insulin when glucose is low and increase in insulin when glucose is high. So it means that we have an improved glucose control. Like I said, more of that stable line. You don't have to think about your diabetes as much. There should be less impact on patients because you'll have less hypos, less highs. I want to say normal, but there's no normal. I still have to inject for food, so I still have to calculate that. And there are exercise settings on this, which will tell the machine I'm about to exercise, so maybe decrease the amount of insulin I'm on or keep a closer eye on it. So there's literally no finger pricking. Like I said, these last 2 weeks and these last about 3 days. So I have 14 days for this, and this change every 3 days. So needles are minimal. If you have a fear or a phobia of needles, these systems are really good. I will say, when you set this one up, it can look a little scary because you do see the needle, but it's not like in your face. This is super easy. You stick it on, press the button, it counts down, and then it puts the needle in, takes it out, and the tube is left in there. There's literally, you don't see a needle with this one at all. So if that is something you're scared of, the Omnipod is amazing for if you have any needle phobia or any issues like that. Apparently this is really easy to use, but I will update you on Wednesday after my appointment to tell you whether it is actually easy to use and whether I actually get on with it. So apparently on clinical outcomes, studies have shown that the closed loop system like this can significantly improve the time that you're in range, obviously. And it will also reduce the HbA1c, which is the average glucose level of a diabetic. The closed loop system represents a significant step forward in diabetes care, making glucose management simpler, more accurate, and more automated, which ultimately leads to better health outcomes for people with diabetes. And I 100% agree. I know there are some people out there that really like the system that they're on and that works for them, and I applaud you for that. I am so pleased it works for you. I am so impressed with how far we've come with diabetes care in the 13 years that I've had it. I have always been told that there will be a cure in my lifetime, and now that we have this system, I feel like that is a possibility, because this is one step closer to a cure, because it takes minimal effort, and these are so discreet that I don't think I'm going to notice it's there. But obviously that's me now. Like I said, my appointment is on Wednesday, so we will see whether what I think is accurate and how easy the system is actually to use. I will say I keep having a bit of fear that because it's sort of auto-generated AI, you know, that fear of like robots rising up. I was like, they're going to get rid of the diabetics first if we're still on this system, because they'll just overdose us. But that's just a stupid fear in my head that I've seen from like sci-fi movies. So I know that's not going to happen, and I'm so excited to see whether my control is better and how much better I feel with better control. So yeah, I will see you after my appointment on Wednesday, and we will spend the first week together and see what it's like on the closed loop system, how it is with the gym. So it might be like after Wednesday I will sort of do a summary of how it's going for the first day, and then in another video in a week's time I will do a video of my full first week using the Omnipod closed loop system. So if you want to see that, subscribe down below. But yeah, I've only got, 4 days, and then I go on this system. So wish me luck, guys, and I will see you Wednesday after my appointment. Okay, so today is the day that I'm getting my artificial pancreas. So I've just charged the handset. My appointment is in about 15 minutes. It should take, they said, about 3 hours, which is insane. Hopefully it won't take that long because I still have work to do. Luckily I'm able to just sort of work over my lunch, things like that, so that's fine. But yeah, I'm really nervous. Like, I don't know why. I think it's because it's a whole new system to learn, so I'm just hoping that it all goes well. fingers crossed. I'll update you once I have had the appointment and it's all set up. Exciting, nervous, we'll see what happens. So I've just got set up. I am now what my family call Robocop, or fully automated. So I have set up my Omnipod 5 system. This touchscreen is so much nicer than my old touchscreen. As you can see, my sugars are a little bit high at the minute, but the diabetic team have said it would take about 5 to 6 Omnipod changes, which works out about 3 weeks-ish for the system to fully understand how my sugars work and what happens, like the trends and things. So it's going to be a bit of trial and error to begin with. I'm so excited. So for the first week, I will do like updates here and there when I remember. I might do a full like sit down and talk through the Omnipod 5 system, but this is just me going through, me actually setting it up and how I feel. I was so anxious for my appointment, like anxious to the point where I thought I was going to have a panic attack, just because obviously it's new, I've never had it before, things can go wrong when you try new things, but in the long run, this should make my diabetes care so much easier and less at the forefront of my mind, which is incredible. It will reduce those hypers, the hypos, reduce my average sugar, which will be incredible. So yeah, I'm just really excited. So hello, it is day 1 of my Omnipod 5. I am exhausted. So yesterday I had at least 6 hypos yesterday. I had 1, 2, 4 in the night, which is incredible. So I got about 4 hours sleep last night. And then today I have had a high of about 13, 12 maybe. And I've had 4 hypos in the last 2 hours. So this is how I've looked for the last day, which is probably the most in range I've been in a very, very long time. But I will say that it is erring on the side of caution at the minute. It is very much going for the lower end of my target than the higher end. I don't think I've had a 6 reading for a while. My sugars are currently 3.7, and this bottom bar here, where it's purple, orange and red, those red are where the pump has turned off and had no insulin at all, and the blues are literally where I have injected for dinner and like lunch. So this was breakfast, then we have lunch, and then we have, no, that can't be right then, afternoon snack. Oh, that was a correction first thing. So correction first thing, breakfast, lunch. So that's all I've had today, and I'm on 3.7 at the minute and feeling a little bit rough. I've started the activity an hour earlier today than I did yesterday, so I've started it now so that it's got 2 hours to warm up before I go to the gym about 6:30. So fingers crossed that might stop those hypos later on. I'm going to have spaghetti bolognese tonight, so I'm going to calculate the carbohydrates and inject for that in about 10 minutes, and then once the dinner's ready and we eat about 10 past 5, my bloods will have sort of already evened out, but I'm hoping my sugars will come up before that. I'm trying not to treat hypos at the minute, but I am so tired. I just want my sugars to be a little bit higher, and hopefully the pump will bring it down instead of being lower and not reaching anywhere near where I should be. So far it's doing well. It's keeping me in like that range, but it's keeping me in the lower end, and it's tiring me out at the minute, but I'm hoping it will learn. It's due a change on Saturday, I think. Saturday. So I need to go through at least 5 pump changes before we make any adjustments. So I'm just trying to persevere at the minute and trying to let it do its thing. It's been full automated mode the whole time. So yeah, I will go into a bit more detail on what that means when I have a bit more energy. But at the minute, this was day 1 and I am knackered. So we're on full day 2 of having my Omnipod 5 pump on. I look really weird today. I don't know why. I think it's because I haven't got mascara on. Anyway, currently treating a hypo. Surprise, surprise. I ended up having more hypos last night. Yesterday, this is how the last 24 hours have looked. I have never been in range so much. I have also never been low so much. So I'm currently on 2.9. This is my second hypo of today, which is actually pretty good considering yesterday I'd already had about 4 by now. And the highest I went was about 10 or 11. So that is insane. So far it's kind of hit and miss. I really like the fact that it's keeping me in range. I don't like how low it is keeping me at the minute. And even Callum commented that last night he thought he was going to have to rip it off of me to stop it from giving me too much insulin, because that's obviously what it's doing at the minute. But like I say, it is learning, so I'm having to just, I don't want to say deal with it, but I'm having to just ride the storm and see how much better it gets. I have got such bad bags as well because I'm so tired. I've had to have a nap today. I nearly didn't go into work this morning because I had such a bad headache from having such low sugars. So we are sticking with it. We will see how it goes. I am due to go to the gym soon, so I should actually start my activity mode. We'll put it on for, so we've got about an hour and a half, then I want it on for an hour, and then I want it on for another hour after that. So we put it on for, we're gonna do it for 5 hours because it only brings it up to like 8.3. So like I said, I would talk more through this at another point. But yeah, so far so good. I seem to always be sat on the sofa when I do these updates, but it has now been over a month since I had my pump fitted. As you could tell from those first 2 days, I was really struggling. So after that, I kind of was just focusing on not ripping it off at that point because my sugars were just so low all the time. I was exhausted. It was affecting like my brain, everything. So that was the last update. I will do a full sit down my first month. I was going to do my first week, but time got away with me. So I'll do a full sit down of like how the system works, how it's going now, that sort of thing at a later date. I'm fully automated still. It is so good. I feel very lucky to have this system. So if you did enjoy today's video, I know it's completely different to any of the other ones that I upload. Give it a big thumbs up. Comment below any other videos you want to see. Also, don't forget to check out my last video. I started a new true crime series on my channel, which is going up every single Monday, where I cover a different serial killer. So if you're into that, subscribe. I will see you all in my next video on Monday for the next Murderous Minds Monday. And if not, I'll see you next Friday for another vlog sit down kind of video. Bye!